Week 13. It just keeps coming. There's more. This week, a couple of big scary runs. Middle of the week, a hard 10 miles, and at the weekend, 20 miles to look forward to, which I probably really need to do that as maybe even a couple of miles extra if I can manage it on the day. But thankfully, no extra classes or anything like that teaching wise, so it's a regular work week. Hopefully that means I'll be able to manage all the runs, manage all the energy levels, try and get some good quality sleep as well. Today, just 4 miles to get started off, easy jog. I think I'll probably head to the lake and back. That should just about do it. Raining, Wednesday afternoon. It's recently started raining. Unenthusiastic as well. I wasn't exactly racing home to come out and run. I do have one I am looking forward to over the weekend, but today it is going to be fast intervals again. So I'm going to do the 4 minutes on, 4 minutes off thing as many times as I need to. Target distance is 10 miles, which I think is a bit steep for that type of workout. It says for a hard session. So we'll see. I've got it programmed into my watch, so I'll probably end up doing the whole thing. At least getting it done quickly will help get me back in the dry. Did it. 10 miles, 9.99 miles. Can you believe that? If I'd have gone just a fraction faster, maybe in one of the intervals, I would have just tipped over the 10. But that was okay. Legs feel sore. Didn't feel too challenging heart rate wise, which is what it was intended to be. But there's meant to be another hard run tomorrow, so I will try and push it a bit further if I can. But recovery time now. Yay! Saturday morning, and I'm just getting ready to head out on my run. I've driven further afield today, come to Watlington, and gonna try a different section of the Ridgeway. So I'm just getting my kit all sorted out. So the plan says to do 20 miles. I think it's just, from what I've been reading and learning about ultra training, mileage is less important than time, so I'm going to see how slow it goes. I'm going to try and slow it down more than I normally would, and take my time over it and maybe not go so far. But yeah, just practicing the nutrition and the food and having a big long run. I had an extra rest day yesterday. I swapped it round because I want to run tomorrow, and that was down on the timetable as a rest day, so I've swapped them over. And yeah, hopefully that's not the wrong thing to do, but it's getting closer now. 20 days to go, so I'll check in later. Look at that. I'm not going to be up this high for most of the run, but just taking in those views while I can. Beautiful sunny day. Do you know, I sometimes get that feeling at the start of the run, just especially knowing when it's going to be a big one, like what the hell am I doing? And then you see views like this on days like this, and I think I could quite happily be out here all day. So I currently have no idea where I am. I started out following the Ridgeway path, and then it took a diversion that didn't look like, it kind of split into two. It said the Ridgeway is that way, and then that split into two, and it wasn't obvious which way to go. So I stuck to the main looking trail, the yellow track road thing, which it said was the Swan Way. So at least it's well signposted. And I've just followed that to what feels like a dead end. It wasn't obvious where it was going to go. And then follow just a random sign up a footpath up a hill, which has just emerged from that little gate you can see there. And now I'm currently at the top of another like beastly hill, but the sign on the little gate said this is the Chiltern Way, which I don't know where that goes or where it ends up, but I'm wondering now if I can get a loop back round to where I was rather than turning around and going back, just to do something different, because all the Ridgeway runs I've done before, you go out and back and you see the same lot twice. It'd be interesting to do a little loop if that's possible. So let's test my map reading skills and see if I can get home. Thankfully there is some signal out here. I spotted another pair of walkers and a dog up ahead, so it can't be too remote. That's always a good sign. Here we are, I've come back, I know where I am now. I've looped round. This is where I propped my phone up earlier to take a video of me running past, and it didn't look obvious which way to go that way, so I picked that path there, and the one behind me now is the way to get back to the car, which is what I'm going to do, and then try and take the Ridgeway in the opposite direction just to try and add on some extra miles. Isn't this a fun adventure? The others haven't been this much fun. Now with a hill this steep, you definitely have to walk it, but I did make it back to the top at the end of the run, so now I'm just heading back to the car. Finished, so back at the car now. So that ended up being less than 15 miles in the end, so not 20. I got back to like the midpoint at the bottom of the hill I'm on. So after my little loopy adventure, got back to the midpoint and then went in the opposite direction, which was more what I had expected, just a straight trail out. So I followed that for a couple of miles and then started to get a bit weepy, started to get a bit like crampy tummy. So I ate something which definitely helped, and then I was able to run a bit more when I'd been starting to slow down and want to walk. So eating food helped, but I think it's the hydration again and the salt, not taking on enough liquid. And I'm very conscious that because I'm like out here by myself, or self-supported, that I'm just being very conservative with it, because I'd rather have some left over than run out completely. And end up depleting myself because I'm trying to save it for later, even though I'm not that far from the car, so it's silly really. But I know on race day obviously I'm going to have aid stations, so I'll be able to top up with fluids and things like that. And I forgot to bring extra electrolytes with me, so I'll top up on those when I get home. But I think in terms overall of that run was, although not like full 20 miles, and I could have mentally pushed through and ground out the distance somehow or the other, but I think the quality in that session was actually in getting lost and being able to find my way back and having to navigate, because obviously when I go up to the Peak District, I don't know where I'm going to be. I've never been there. I don't know the route. I probably should have gone and done a recce, but lockdown would have prevented that anyway. So I think, just having that bit extra confidence of being able to get myself back on track. At least on race day there'll be other runners, there'll be route marked to a certain point. And also the train was a bit more varied going up and down than it would have been if I'd stayed on the path. So I think in terms of effort level, although it wasn't full 20 miles, I think that was still an 8 out of 10 effort level and quality. So very happy with that. So now the real reason for coming to this part of the trail is revealed. There's a bakery in Watlington that sells absolutely amazing bread, and they're just such lovely people that work there as well, that own the business and run it and do the baking. So I've got a potato and something loaf, Marmite and cheese swirls, and some Eccles cakes to share with Mum and Dad. That should keep me fueled for the rest of my weekend, at least, if not longer. Sunday morning now, and even more gorgeous than it was yesterday. And look there, you can see, maybe not the ripple of the water on the trees, look. Yeah, so yesterday was interesting. I knew it would have been a harder session, but I felt okay when the run finished. But before, and I'd had something to eat, and then just found that something triggered me, and I was obviously in a more fragile state than I realised, and it just knocked me for six, and was basically flat out for the rest of the day emotionally, and trying to recover physically and then emotionally as well. I guess it just goes like that sometimes. The intensity of the exercise and pushing yourself and keeping going, and sometimes it doesn't take much to kind of unravel everything emotionally and internally, and it was kind of unexpected, but I've had some wine last night, which actually made it worse somehow. I thought it would help, sometimes it just calms things, but actually I was in a worse state, but I slept pretty well considering, alcohol notwithstanding. Had to get up early and cover a boot camp this morning, so I've done some work and had some interaction with some other people, which is good, and seeing some old faces that I haven't seen for a long time, so that was really lovely. And I've just come out and I'm taking it super slow this morning, like really consciously slow jog, and I'm probably going to go home and sleep again before lunch and try and read. I'm going to turn around because the view is just so gorgeous. And then there's loads of different stuff going on at the moment, and not just the pandemic, but feeling anxious about trying to shape and grow a business. I've got some friends whose family members are unwell, trying to deal with a new routine, figure out what I'm going to do about teaching classes. I didn't get the old ones back I was expecting, so I've got to make a decision about that. Life is always uncertain. That's always the case. It's just very apparent at the moment. It's much more obvious that that's the case than it was before this pandemic thing happened. And that does have an effect on, your emotional strength and ability to cope. And then there's some stuff that's more deeply personal to me that I'm trying to deal with at the same time. And that just all came out yesterday, really unexpectedly. So just got to keep going forwards, but take it slow. And I'm really looking forward to, after the event, slowing down even more, like letting the running slip for a bit and going in the gym and doing some heavy weight training and slowing right down, because I think that will be beneficial. Just to change things around, and I've got some other ideas of things I want to do as well, so hopefully those will come together and give me some things to work on and feel positive about. So but for today I still got a couple of miles to go. I'm just going to finish off nice and easy, and I'll check in with you again next week.